So as you saw in a video that I posted quickly that an upcoming project, this is it right here. We're going to be changing the rocker panel and doing some work on the cab corner. I got new ones as you saw. What I got to determine is, so the rocker panels I got are complete. They actually go all the way and they wrap up and they connect up in here. I just got to determine how much I want to cut out of the good stuff and then bring the new rocker panels into position and cut off where they need to be cut off to line up with the new cab corners I'm going to put on. To remove all this stuff and get all the gasket stuff out of the way and get back to the metal, including this little plate here has to come off, this little step plate. So these are not just slip over and just patchwork rocker panels. You can buy those as well. This is the complete rocker panel. And I still have some more rust to cut out under here, and then I'm going to treat everything that's underneath here with rust converter so it doesn't continue to rust. And the new rocker panels I'll paint on the back side as well before I put them in. So this is still pretty solid here, but let's get this apart and see what we're working with as far as the metal underneath and where we gotta cut the new ones to fit in here. The first thing I do is remove this top plastic panel here, and then we will also remove this rubber door gasket. Of course, there's always one stubborn one. I had this rusted one here that the plastic actually broke on. I had to use vice grips to get it out, and that was this last one up here, which receives the most water every time you get in and out with your boots and stuff in the winter time. So you can see there's more rust up here, and then it actually gets a little better as we go down this way, and then there's some rust up here again. So you're going to deal with that, and then you got this front panel here. It just comes out, it's held in place by this last screw that's in here that I just took out, and then this should just come out. Sometimes it screws up on the other end, but a lot of times there's not, and this one does not. So, and this is going to be a long-term project, so I'm just going to be careful about not losing pieces. I'm going to put them behind the cab, and any screws and stuff I will put into a bag. And now I have a little more access here. I can pull this back and really see what I'm working with, because we're going to be pulling this gasket off here as well, getting it out of the way, because you can see we're going to be bringing the new rocker right up against here. So really that's the next step, is to pull this back a little ways. Now I'm going to still have to be driving this truck, so I'll be careful how I do this. I don't really want to pull it all the way off, all the way around, because I don't want rain to come in when I'm still using it. So I might have to slip this back in place when I drive the truck. For the sake of seeing what we're trying to get to here, we'll get it pulled out of the way like that, and we'll be pulling this carpet back as well. And that same thing goes for back here. We have this gasket, door gasket that will pop up, and we'll tip this up here and out of the way like that. And this really is not really so much in the way. Now we can see what we're working with here, and I can take this brush here and get some of this rust out of the way. And I'll get a vacuum in here and get this stuff out too. It's in behind. And we'll treat this rust in here too so it doesn't get any worse and rot out. So I have a hole up to the floor of the bus. I keep saying bus because we're also converting a bus over there into a tiny house / camper RV. This is my truck we're working on today. Alright, next thing we're going to get off is this plastic thing, and there's probably clips underneath there, so I'm going to have to get underneath there and take a look to see. Since everything is rotted out, I should be able to access them, although I'm not feeling anything. So maybe that is just glued down in place. Let's take a look. Yes, that is just stuck down with sticky tape. So we're just going to go ahead and carefully pop this up, because we will reuse this. Yep, so that was just stuck down with some sticky tape. So we'll clean that all up and then be able to put it back when we're done. For now, we'll go behind and see with everything else. So once again, we'll just clean up what we have here. Alright, so you can see this part of my rocker panel is in good shape. So I'm not sure how much of this I will cut away. I'll probably leave this for extra strength, grind this metal all down so I can wrap the new one up and weld to it up here. And then, of course, it goes down underneath and goes all the way down to this plate here. So we're going to definitely cut away some more of this rusted up metal and treat it all, get it all cleaned up before we put the new one on. So that's what we'll be working on next. So you can see I've done a bunch more cutting, really just cutting all the worst rust out. I get all these really just the stuff that's just really literally falling apart out. So we're getting back to some solid stuff here, certainly solid up here. And the same thing all across down here. We just grinding off all the loose stuff. A little bit of an issue here to deal with. And I cut this out, and you can see right here, this is all really bad, so I just cut it right out. I'm just going to straighten this out here a little bit more. It's only going to be covered anyways, but you want to get that rust out as much as you can. You can see here's some more issues to deal with. All the way up in here, I cut all of the stuff out in here. So we're getting back to much more solid metal, and that's what you want. And then I'm going to treat what's left behind with rust converter before we put anything new on. But basically just got to get everything that's here cleaned up first. And I did a little bit of cleaning up here as well, cleaning up some of these rusty spots. Up here you can see it's kind of weak, and again I still got a vacuum inside here, get all that cleaned up. But I'm not going to be working on this too much longer today, but I think I will take the time to spray what there is here for rust with the converter, just to protect it in the meantime, because again, this is probably going to be done over the course of several days, if not weeks, because I just got a lot of other stuff going on. So I'm just kind of picking away at this here and there as I have some time. Because the ultimate goal is to get the whole truck fixed back up and give it a paint job, because really it's in great shape other than a few rust spots like that and a lot of the clear coat peeling. So I'm not going to get fussy, but I am going to clean it up and throw some paint on it just to spruce it up a little bit. Alright, so you see I got the cab corner out here as well. So what I was trying to determine was how far the cab corner came over here. Sorry about that, I'm just trying to figure out how far it came over in this area right here. You can see where it ends. So I know roughly where to cut off the rocker panel, because the cab corner will fill in and take care of all of this cab problem back here, and then the rocker panel will pick up from here and go forward. So I put that in place, made a little mark there. You can probably see a little scratch mark. Then I held the rocker panel up there, and you can see I cut off a section of it. I might have to cut off more, but I'd rather have to take more off than have to add back on. So now, when I put this up here, sorry, I'm trying to use both hands and trying to hold the camera as well. You can see now it goes a little further than my mark, but that way I can blend everything in and weld it all together. But essentially this will get clamped up here to this ridge here. Probably going to have to cut this back some because it starts to go up here a little bit, which is causing this to raise. So I will probably cut this back here some. Remember, this is solid on my truck already, so it's okay to remove some of this. That'll allow me to bring it up tight. You can see the front here. I can bring right up tight here to the old plate, and it comes in nicely here where it belongs. And underneath it's hard to see, but it comes in tight up there once I have it all clamped. What I'll end up doing is welding up here first, clamping it, and then going underneath and squeezing these two together and welding it down there. And then I can always come back and cut off any little pieces, even right on the truck, to then mold in and fit in the cab corner to fix this problem. But I think the next thing I'm going to do is take off a little bit of this corner right here. So that'll be next, so we can get this to fit a little bit better. And I think I'm going to have to cut off some more of this here. And I will put the cab corner back on and make sure it's going to cover this before I do that. So it's really just kind of a trial and error, putting pieces on, taking pieces off, and getting it to match as best you can. And I'm not a pro, I'm a backyard mechanic, I do a lot of stuff. So, you know, it might take me a little longer than someone that does this kind of work every single day, but I will get this job done. Alright, so I've done quite a bit more work to the rocker panel here. I was not able to show everything because it's just a lot going on. I'm trying to get this done quickly, but hopefully you can see I got the new rocker panel all in. I got it welded across here like we talked about, and we'll be putting the gasket back in position. I welded it here. I do got a little hole here where this, and I'll either weld a plate or something in there, but you know, the rocker panel itself now is all new. There's no rot there, it's brand new. The last thing I have to work on, oh excuse me, is the cab corner, and then I'll meet that up to this, and I'll probably cut this where that cab corner is going to meet and weld them together. I went beyond further than I needed to make sure the corner was going to, you know, come over it. So I haven't 100% decided how much of the corner I'm going to replace, because this is all solid up here and the new cab corner goes all the way up to here. So they give you a nice big piece, but I'm not sure if I'm going to replace all that or cut it in down here somewhere. That's to be determined. But so far that's what I got, and I did, you know, where it met here, I clamped it tight like I talked about, and I welded all across down here. So this is all nice and solid, not going anywhere. So that won't be a problem going forward for quite some time, hopefully. So now I get the corner, cab corner complete, and we'll start putting this back together. But you can see now it looks a lot better down there than that great big rotted open area. And I got it up here as close as I could. I'm still contemplating buying new fenders. I've done some repair work here with some heavy steel. I do need to bondo it and smooth it all out. And you know, I have done, it did have some rust spots along that, but they're not that bad. And again, for the year of the truck, I just can't justify the expense of these fenders. On Amazon, they're about 125 bucks. I did find them on another site for 165 bucks for both, which is a pretty good deal. But I'm not sure that I really want to spend that kind of money. I'm not looking to make this thing restored pristine. I'm just looking to get it fixed up and preserved, basically, so I can still keep it on the road, because the frame and the engine is not a problem. It's just the body, which is normal in the Northeast. And I'll just kind of back up here and show you what we got going here. The clear coat has peeled off, and then in many areas the paint has peeled. What you're looking at for the white stuff is I had an old thing of wax that was really not much any good, and I just lathered it on here thick to protect my metal from rusting in the elements until I could get to repairing this. So it looks like shit, but it's protected until I get to, you know, sanding this all down and giving this thing a new paint job. And the same thing happened to the roof of the truck as well. You can see the clear coat's all gone, and then if I were to lift the camera up there, I'm sure, I can't see from here, but some of the paint is gone as well, and there's probably some rusting. So I'm going to have to remove my light bar and all the external components here to really get this right and get it fixed up. But we're getting there. The rocker panel's in. My dually wheel well fender, fiberglass extenders, same thing, but there is some damage here I got to deal with as well. I'm probably going to fiberglass from underneath and then just bondo this smooth here once I get it back in the position. This is very common for these things to end up like this, because people stand on them. I'm the second owner of this truck, and it was a work truck before, so you know, but people stand on these, and so don't I, so that definitely creates some issue. There's some damage around the back here. I got to fix this piece here, and because, you know, different things. This one is not as bad. I don't have that big crack in it, but the paint and stuff is peeling in the clear coat, and that's why I coated this with that wax too, because I have bare metal in many areas here, just to help protect it until I get the time to do what I want to do. Another thing I want to do to it is put new window sweeps on. You can see the interior parts of these are all rusted out, so there's nothing left of the metal, and so it's just looking like crap. So I think I'm going to replace these as well before I'm done. But other than that, this is a great truck. I mean, the thing runs great. All that stuff is not an issue. It's just body work. And we're going to hopefully get it fixed up. Not restored by any stretch of the imagination, but fixed up, looking good, and ready to continue working. I'm back here working on the truck. And right now I'm getting ready to cut down the new cab corner. So I'm not going to put this whole piece on. I mean, maybe I probably should, but you know, this is all, that thing goes way up to here. And this is all solid up here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the new one right on this line here, right along here, in hopes that, you know, it'll hide some of that, because it's kind of a seam area anyway. Not a seam, but there will be a seam there. But if I can use this natural contour here to kind of hide the weld, and then I'll cut it off on the side here as well. And again, my side on this is solid too. It's just this lower portion that's shot. So like I said, I'm not going to go all the way up. I'm just going to go right here. So what I got to do is cut this one off, and then we'll set up there and see if we have to make any other adjustments on the side area, or where it's going to land down here. And I know I got to cut this here, straighten this out a bit so the corner will match up to it. And the corner will go all the way in against this here, so we'll be grinding this paint off here so we have some good metal to weld to. But again, that's all solid. I cut all the rust out of it already, so let me go ahead and get this cut, and we'll go from there and see what it looks like once we put it up there. Because the problem is right now is I'm putting it up here, but with this trim here in the way, I can't really get a sense of how well it's going to fit where it needs to fit. Sorry about that. How well it's going to fit until I can, you know, just cut the piece off and go from there. So let's just stop babbling and get this cut.